Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome back. In this video, I'm highlighting the controversy surrounding the Wesley Girls High School that has been hotly debated back home in Ghana for the past 2 weeks or so, even though the case doesn't seem to be a 2 weeks old case. Before we highlight the background of the whole controversy, let's first establish a common ground and be on the same page. The discussion we are going to have in this video is going to be purely based on the Islamic faith, Quran and Sunnah. It will have nothing to do with politics on the ground. It will have nothing to do with anyone's political stance, and it will also have nothing to do with any personality by name. So any misunderstanding that anyone may develop will purely be a coincidence. That is one. The other thing is, if you choose to watch this video, then I humbly request that you watch to the end. First, to get the bigger picture, and second, to get the message as I want to send it across and not misunderstand anything in the end. Another thing is that I humbly request that you kindly detach yourself from your personal political inclination, as that will have a significant influence on how you receive whatever we are sharing here. I'm not imposing anything on anyone. I'm not imposing my opinion on you, but what I'm sharing here is what I believe in, is what will be my answer before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. So what is the background of the controversy? When I asked Google AI mode about the background of the Wesley High School controversy that is going on in Ghana, this is what I got. The controversy surrounding Wesley Girls High School in Ghana is a legal and public debate over whether publicly funded mission schools can restrict students from practicing their non-founding faith. And then it went on to mention some allegations of discrimination which Muslim students at the Wesley Girls High School have repeatedly experienced. Right. Another thing is the school's position, which indicates that the school, which was founded in the 1800s by a Methodist church, which means a missionary school, a church school, argues that it has rules that are compulsory for all students to follow. Next, the other thing mentioned is that public versus private status. The school is a public school and is founded using taxpayers' money and what have you. And in the debate, there is a mention of constitutional challenge, that it is a constitutional right for any Ghanaian child to practice their religion freely, regardless of which school they choose to go. And there's a mention of court cases and the AG and what have you. Now, what you have just seen is what I'm basing this discussion on. If there is any misinformation that you have seen, please indicate in the comments below and I will gladly come to rectify them, inshallah ta'ala. So Wesley Girls School is a missionary school that no one argues about. The status of the school is something everyone, all debating parties agree on. It's a missionary school and it's all girls school for sure. A missionary school. Which kind of missionary school is it? It is a Christian missionary school. What is a Christian missionary school? A Christian missionary school is an educational institution established by Christian missionaries to provide education at the same time to promote their faith. Promoting their faith is actually the main objective through providing education, just like they do through providing charity, social help, and what have you. Christian missionaries, they do a lot of things on the ground. This has been from the days, but at the end of the day, the end goal is to promote the faith, is to convert non-Christians to Christianity. Regardless of how they treat you, whether they treat you nicely or whether they treat you with hostility. The objective is to convert you into the faith. Whether they say it, they utter it, or whether they hide it. That is the objective of missionary schools. That is the objective of missionaries. And it came together with the colonial power. So what we have to agree upon at this moment, or remind one another, is that a Christian missionary school, now we use the word missionary moving forward. A missionary school in Ghana or anywhere else has a primary objective, that is to promote the faith. And in order to promote the faith, practicing the Christian faith is across the system, whichever it is. If it is a hospital, if it's a daycare, if it is a school, you will see symbols of Christianity. You will see practice of Christianity. You will hear sermons of Christianity and what have you. Now the question is, should a Muslim child be sent to a Christian missionary school where not only they may be deprived or prevented from practicing their faith, but they will be exposed heavily to the Christian faith and the Christian rituals? Should a Muslim child be sent to a missionary school? In Islam, it is not permissible for not only a Muslim child to be sent to missionary school, but for a Muslim to live in a midst where he cannot freely practice his faith. This may not be the time to talk about evidences and proofs, but this is common sense in Islam. And we are not talking about living in harmony with non-Muslims. We are not talking about living in harmony, in peace and friendship and whatever, and doing business and commerce with non-Muslims. That's not what we are talking about. We are talking about putting yourself as an adult in a circle where you have no freedom to practice your faith as a Muslim, let alone to send your child into that circle to be educated. Should a Muslim do that? Should a Muslim child be exposed to that? The answer is no. The answer is no. Not only that they will put on miniskirts, because we are talking about all girls schools now. Not only they will put on miniskirts. Not only they will not have the right to put on their hijab. Not only they will not be able to read the Quran, they are forced to attend services on Sundays. They are forced to listen, if not participate, to morning prayers. Don't tell me these morning prayers have got no effect. And they are surrounded by crosses and symbols all over the place. And the Prophet ﷺ will break crosses if he see one. The Prophet ﷺ will tarnish and demolish anything that he will see cross or symbols of other faith right in front of him. So why will a Muslim send his child into this? In other words, even if a Muslim child is allowed to put on proper hijab, is allowed to wear a long dress, is allowed to read the Quran, in a missionary school, the fact that he or she will be exposed to not only participating, but to listening to shirkiyat, to rituals that are not right as far as Islam is concerned. Day in, day out, let alone being required to attend services, Sunday service, church service, and what have you. A Muslim should not do that. Whether there is constitutional right or there is no constitutional right, a Muslim is not supposed to put his child here. Now, the Muslim community's argument in defending the case against the Wesley Girls High School is constitutional right. That it is the constitutional right of any child in Ghana to go to any school, any government-funded school of their choice. Yes, it is constitutional right. But constitutional right doesn't mean that you do anything just because it is allowed by the Constitution. While the Constitution determines what you can do and what you cannot do, as a citizen, your faith as a Muslim has the higher power over any constitution under the sun. If the Constitution allows you to go to any missionary school, does Islam allow you to be in a missionary school? If the Constitution allows you to send your child to a missionary school, does Islam allow you to send your child into hell? Islam does not allow that. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. Believers, save yourselves and your household, your families from hell. Who is that who will send his child into shirk, into kufr? I know some will come and say, but there are some who have gone through the system and survived. What education are we talking about here? What's the education that we need to survive as Muslims? Is it the one we are getting at Wesley high schools? Is it the one we are getting in the secular educational setups? It is not. It is not. Just because it is constitutionally legal for you to gamble, should the Muslim gamble? Just because the Constitution allows any citizen to drink whatever they want, should the Muslim drink? Can the Muslim drink? Just because the Constitution allows for prostitution to be permitted, if prostitution is permitted in the country, should the Muslim do it? Should the Muslim promote it? Should the Muslim serve in prostitution? Let us not abuse the use of constitutional right. By using the word constitutional right to force ourselves into missionary schools, we are using our constitutional right to push ourselves into jahiliyyah. Even if the schools, these schools, missionary schools, allow hijab, which kind of hijab do they allow? Miniskirt. Put on a piece of cloth on the head just in the name of hijab, and the shoulders are exposed, and the legs are exposed. Is this hijab? Wallahi, this is jahiliyyah. وَلَا تَبَرَّجْنَ تَبَرُّجَ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ الْأُولَى. Do not expose yourselves, tabarruj, like the jahiliyyah people used to do. 1,500 years later, we are using constitutional right to force our children, our girls, our daughters, our sisters into jahiliyyah. This is not constitutional right. This is jahiliyyah right. Na'udhu billah. Na'udhu billah. Let's talk about constitutional right. If the Constitution allows any child in Ghana to go to any school of their choice and yet still be able to practice their religion the way they want it, doesn't the Constitution allow Muslims to establish institutions of their own? Don't we have constitutional right to establish institutions as good, even better than Wesley High and all the other missionary schools? We have the constitutional right. Why don't we use our constitutional right to do that? Why don't we use our constitutional right to do that? So now that this brings us to the next question. Don't we have Muslim missionary schools? The answer is either yes or no. If we say no, we don't have Muslim missionary schools, then why? What is stopping us? What is stopping us? Every Muslim my age or even younger knows that the amount of money that have come from the Middle East into Ghana to establish institutions, schools, I'm not talking about mosques and wells yet. The amount of money that have come into Ghana for Islamic education, had it been materialized and realized, we would have been better than the missionary schools. Why don't we have them? That is, suppose the answer to the question is no. If the answer is yes, and yes, we do have Islamic institutions. We do have Islamic institutions. Don't tell me they are not good enough. Don't tell me they are not good enough. How can they be good if we don't want to be in there? How can they be good if we don't want to send our children there? If our wealthy, our elites, our bright send their children to missionary schools, and their support will be going there, and their contributions will be going there, who are the ones who are coming to help shape and guide and bring up, elevate the Islamic institutions there? Who are the ones? So if we have our own institutions, why are we not sending our children? Why are they not good enough? What prevents us from making them good? Why don't we take pride in our own? Why can't we take pride in our own? That aside, wallahi, any school or Islamic school or madrasa that will teach your child to be a proper Muslim is better for him and for you than any secular institution that will make them a prime minister or a minister or a professor or anything under the sun. How long are we going to be in this world? How long are we going to be in this world? Wallahi, sending your child to an unknown Islamic school and they maintain their Muslim identity and they keep up with it and die as Muslims is better than they become professors and doctors who, in the name of politics, goes and kneels in churches for services, for political gains, who go to shrines for blessings. Is this what you want your daughters to be when you push them into missionary schools? I know there are cases of people who say, well, my experience in this Methodist has been fantastic. My experience in this missionary school has been, the objective is one. The goal is one. Different heads, different masters, different people in charge will use different approach. Just because the approach is diplomatic or politically correct doesn't change the main core, your faith, the faith of your child. Well, they're afraid their schools will be Islamized, and that is true. Let's be honest, that is true. Let us not bury our heads in the sand. That is true. Wherever the Quran is read, wherever prayer is performed, wherever Islam is showcased, it definitely shines. And it will shine even better when we have our own institutions which can stand up like these missionary schools. And wallahi, they can. Why are we holding on to constitutional right like the constitutional right become Quran? The constitutional right is human-made. This constitution, colonial constitution at the end of the day, colonial constitution at the end of the day, we have only a few items which favor us as Muslims, or at least which does not deprive our rights as Muslims, or at least which allows us to be Muslims. But what about the other elements of the Constitution, the other articles of the Constitution that upfront discriminate against us as Muslims? Why are we not talking about that? We talk about constitutional rights. Yahi, a Muslimah with hijab, can she take passport photo with the hijab properly? She is forced to remove the hijab to take a passport photo. In the event she has some links where they can allow her to put on her hijab, she has to still expose her ears. What does exposing ears have to do with passport photo? We learned this from their colonial masters. Today, British Muslims, they don't have to expose their ears to take passport photos. The colonialization that we are still living in. A girl has to cut her hair like a boy. What? How does this make sense? Because constitution, isn't it? To end this video, let me ask an innocent question. Let's say we have an institution, Islamic institution, government funded, using taxpayers' money, and it is Islamic missionary school. Just because it is funded with taxpayers' money, will you allow any Tom, Dick, and Harry to come in and perform their rituals, their religion? It is not like that. They established their institutions to promote their faith. Because we have democracy, those public school is entitled for government funding. Let us also establish ours and demand for government funding. Why not? Why not? Can't we do just like they do? We can. Why are we not doing it? So imagine in Al-Azhariya Islamic School, which I proudly belong to, imagine an idol worshipper coming and demanding to be given a corner to perform rituals. Will you allow that? Doesn't the child have constitutional right to perform that? Imagine in Al-Azhariya Islamic School, Christian students, and I believe there have been some Christian students in the senior high school of Azhariya. That is what I heard. Imagine this asking they want to perform crusade songs in the school, in Al-Azhariya. Will you allow that? So when the Wesley High School says no, they are right. Wallahi, they will compromise their religion if they allow this. They will compromise their religion if they allow this. Let us establish our own and save our girls. They dress properly. They cover themselves properly. They don't have to listen to morning shirk and what have you. They don't have to be forced into weekend church services. They don't have to hide to do anything as Muslims. And they don't have to be peer pressured. They don't have to be schooled, graduate from school, and have low self-esteem in promoting their faith. They feel shy to be known as Muslims. May Allah grant us steadfastness and safeguard our faith, and grant us what it takes to better and purify our dunya for the best interest of our akhirah. Like I said, this discussion, at least my sharing, has got nothing to do with any politics. And if you are talking about constitutional rights, we have constitutional rights that we can actually fight for, we can actually demand, we can actually stand up for. And just because we have constitutional right doesn't mean that we abuse the term and push ourselves into jahiliyyah. Wallahi, this is pure jahiliyyah. Wallahu a'lam. Until the next, I leave you in Allah's protection. See you in Jannah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.